If you look in the world, we tend to believe that something tangible, like a relationship, or like a beautiful home, or like a trip, or something like that, is for sure going to create some sort of impact, make us happy in one way or another. Whereas when it comes to considering the impact of God on our lives, on the cosmic absolute, on the supreme onto our lives, we might be like, I'm still having some doubts around that.
The lecture that we will have today is, for me personally, a very touching and meaningful lecture. Some years ago, I felt as if my path and my evolution and all the many hours of practice and monthly retreats and all that, I felt a bit desperate. I somehow calculated the progress in the first 15, 16 years and saw the destination, and somewhere in the back of my head I realized I'm gonna die before I reach anything substantial. I'll probably die 5 times before I reach anything substantial if I continue in this rhythm. And I didn't know where to. My time was like a well-packed suitcase. I would practice with every free moment for a decade and a half, and still wasn't going so fast, and I was a bit desperate and a bit heartbroken inside. And the understandings that we will present in this lecture, which are pretty simple understandings, came to us somehow through very, very difficult life situations. So I was lucky enough to have really, really hard few years, and the intense pressure from all sorts of places at once, with the grace of God, brought these understandings and this particular shift of perspective that we will offer here, a certain shift of perspective on the spiritual path. It created in both of us a very, very special spiritual momentum, and the despair, which was somewhere there in the back of the head, has been replaced with great hope. And I also hope that all of you who have this longing in the heart to find God and to find your way back home, that you'll be able to put these understandings, which are pretty simple to understand, but need a certain, let's say, eagerness to fulfill, that you'll be able to put these understandings into life, and that you will have similar and possibly even far, far greater results.
Please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all of that stuff. The problem is the following. No matter if you are spiritual or not, all of us search for happiness. And if you look, for example, at the way that we, within our culture, within the several cultures that are coming together in this lecture, how we tell our fairy tales and how we also tell our modern fairy tales of Hollywood movies and so forth, you will not find a story ending on a sentence like, and then they lived happily for some 3 to 5 years and then something horrible happened. But it will always be, and then they lived happily ever after. And the way that we express somehow our wish for happiness, our desire for happiness within our culture, even the bit maybe wild culture that we currently live in, that is maybe doesn't seem so happy, but the wish for happiness is always expressed as an everlasting wish, a wish for a happiness that would just remain like that would just keep fulfilling us over and over and over again. This is a profound wish that we have within humanity, and you'll find it through various cultures expressed in this way. Now, the interesting thing is that particularly in the Western culture nowadays, but when we say nowadays, already for some centuries, even millennia, there is this interesting search for happiness within transient things. And it is, of course, we are socialized very much into that direction, but it is surprising how much we invest into transient things making us happy. Now, if you found your way to this lecture or to this YouTube channel or wherever you're seeing this, likely you are not hoping that the next Rolls Royce or the next iPad or whatnot will bring you lasting happiness. I'm quite sure you're beyond that point. But then nevertheless, there will be a wish maybe to now find happiness in this romance, in this relationship to your children, to your parents, in this social circumstance. Maybe you will hope to find happiness within a certain feeling, a feeling of love, a feeling of compassion. Maybe you hope to find it in some meaningful work, in something purposeful that you're doing. Maybe you hope to find happiness by writing a book or an article, which is, of course, very wonderful ways of expression of human life and human soul. Nevertheless, it has implicitly a hashtag in it saying, I very much hope so, that this is going to make me happy forever, even though it is a thing that will not last forever. So even if you find, I hate to break it to you, but even if you find someone who's going to love you for this life will end. And even if you will find maybe a wonderful, purposeful way of expressing yourself, again, as you die, that will come to an end. And you don't know what will be after that. Nevertheless, we seem to have this silent hope that somehow we will get an exception and we will be happy through these transient means forever. Otherwise, we wouldn't be investing ourselves with such a tenacity, crying after long-lost love with such a tenacity, hoping for this business to take off in this or that way, being destroyed inside if we find out we have a disease or this or that. We wouldn't be so invested into all of these things if it wasn't for the silent hope that somehow within this world, we can find this everlasting happiness by remaining healthy, by finding love, by expressing ourselves purposefully, which seems to make a whole lot of sense when you say it in this beautiful poetic way. But if you look at the equation of life, namely, these things will not last, yet we seek for lasting happiness within them, it doesn't seem to make so much sense anymore. Why do we do this? Well, the one-word Sanskrit answer to this is Maya. There's a concept within especially the Hindu cosmology, but you will find it one way or another also in other worldviews. Maya means as much as illusion, or sometimes also the great cosmic magic that is happening all the time. And a short way of describing what Maya is, the illusion is basically that we misinterpret appearances as reality. We misinterpret that which isn't real as real. We misinterpret that which is not lasting as lasting, and that which is lasting as not lasting. If you look in the world, we tend to believe that something tangible like a relationship or like a beautiful home or like a trip or something like that is for sure going to create some sort of impact, make us happy in one way or another, have a real impact in our life one way or another. Whereas when it comes to considering the impact of God on our lives, on the cosmic absolute, on the supreme onto our lives, we might be like, I'm still having some doubts around that. This is Maya, that we have a twisted view of what is real and lasting, projected onto what is unreal and not lasting. One of the classic examples from Shankara is the example of the rope. The idea is we walk down a dark road and we see a snake and we jump. And on closer inspection, we acquire a new knowledge, which is that, oh, this turns out not to be a snake, but instead it is just a coiled up rope. The snake was real in our illusory vision until we obtained the knowledge that it is actually just a rope. Once the illusion or Maya breaks, the snake vanishes forever. So then no more snakes for you, only ropes where there are ropes. Similarly, ignorant man thinks he suffers and is in bondage. On closer inspection and study, he acquires new knowledge and realizes he is Brahman, or the Absolute. Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, tantra and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.